Woohoo! I love it. I always love it when I see go live. Go live. I love that. I always look for that go live. It's so fun to me every single morning. Woo! Yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah, 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 yeah. It's Tuesday. Yeah, 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 yeah. It's Tuesday. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh my Lord. It's awesome. It's Tuesday. Let's get excited. I don't know. I don't want to be too noisy for you, but sorry. This is what I need to get excited. This is what happens. This is what happens with Grace Simon in the mornings. You should come into my house and see exactly what happens. My poor kids, they get woken up to noise a lot of the times in the morning. I'm shouting and I'm declaring and I'm singing and I'm throwing up my hands. Woo! Yes, that's what it's like to be in the house of Grace Simon. And it's been a few hours already, so this is not the beginning. This is real, true joy of living a life, living a life of fulfillment and promise. I get excited. I love it that I have a like high ceilings, my front entrance. I love the acoustic place. I love to sing and shout and get my energy and get my praises on and just be excited for today. I'm really excited for today. Good morning, everybody. Hello out there. I am excited to deliver a continuation from yesterday. Yesterday, I talked about, you got to find that the E and E, right? Energy and excellence. What is your passion? What is the passion? What is the thing that you do in a day that gets you stirred up and excited? And finding those moments in your day of doing whatever that you do, whether it's at home, whether it's at work, whether it's at driving, whether it's in the community, wherever you are. Good morning. Good morning out there. How are you this morning? Whatever you're doing in that moment that you feel that energy, you feel that excitement, you feel that bubble up within you, you got to take note because in those moments, that is where your passion lies. That is where the seed lies that you have to nurture, to create, to build, to expand, to identify, to grow, to lead and to influence and really leave a legacy in those very moments of those days and of doing something in your life that you're just like, I love this. This is so awesome. If I could do this every single day, it would be just so awesome. So this is what I want you to pay attention to. And I have a really powerful story to share with you that hopefully will really ignite something within you because I know it has it's really ignited something more into me as I've been reading about this man over the past few weeks. I've been doing a study with my entrepreneurs group, and it's about the life of Arthur Guinness. Guinness beer. Well, when you drink, I don't drink beer. I used to like ale and beer. I used to, in my 30s, I wouldn't mind having an ale or a beer. But now when I'm approaching 50, it's just not worth it, girls. It's not worth it. When I heard that drinking a glass of beer is like eating a loaf of bread, that was it. It was like, no, no, no. But we're not talking about that. We're talking about a legacy. We're talking about what's in you to create. And it's actually already been created in you and it has been being created for generations. What's in you today, what's that very thing that when you're going about your day and you're doing what you're doing and there's something that sparks you, whatever makes you happy, mad, glad, or sad, there's something that sparks you. And it's really not something that's began when you were first born. It's actually been within you for a very long time. From generations to generations, there's something in your makeup, there's something in your DNA that is continually growing, that's always continually expanding, that's always continually creating. and is part of your potential. It's part of your purpose. It's part of your makeup. It's part of who you are. And when you dig into this, I love digging into this. I love digging into this for myself and for my clients and for people. It's just because it's so powerful. When I read about Arthur Guinness and Guinness beer, I want to highlight this story with you this morning, and I want to ask you some questions. Arthur Guinness, when he was 34 years old, when he was 34, he packed up everything and he moved to Dublin. He moved to Dublin, Ireland at 34 years old. He packed everything up, right, of his belongings, whatever. But the one thing that was really important to him that he took with him was this strand of yeast. This is like was the most precious thing that he brought was this strand of yeast that he had been using while mastering the art of beer in his brewery. So he brought with him at 34 years old, Arthur Guinness. At 34 years old, he brought this strand of yeast to Ireland. And that strand, listen to this, guys. It was that strand of yeast cells that Guinness would use to create an innovative style of beer called stout. So through that strand of yeast, he created a very unique, innovative style of beer. And so according to Guinness's biographer, more than 250 years, guys, listen to this powerful story because it's not just about Arthur Guinness, it's about you and you finding that DNA, that strand of yeast or that strand of something within you. But according to Guinness's biographer, more than 250 years after Arthur founded his brewery, Arthur's yeast is still at work and used to produce Guinness beer in breweries all around the world. 250 years later, that strand of yeast that he took with him when he was 34 years old is still being used all around the world to make Guinness beer. That one strand that he took with him, that it was precious, that he understood the importance of that strand of yeast. He used it. And now, even today, 250 years later, it's being used. I want you to think about that. Arthur's strand of yeast is bound, it's bound to die out, right? It's bound to die out. But think about this, guys. I want you to think about this, friends, that he took that strand of yeast at 34 years old. He had been mastering at his brewery, and he took to Dublin, Ireland, because obviously he had a vision for something more. He knew that he had to need to get out of his environment of where he was. He needed to separate himself from where he had begun, right? Where he had gotten to a certain point, and he needed to move somewhere else. He needed to change his environment. I don't know. He saw more opportunities. He saw something was in him that he knew that he needed to go to Dublin, to expand on this idea that he had, that eventually created the stout beer that is famous globally, and that strand still exists today. Friends, that thing that's within you, if you were to pack up everything, and you knew I need a change. I need a change, or maybe you don't think you need a change, or there's something that is in you that you need to shift something about yourself forward. In order to move forward, you need to pack up something. So if you were to pack up everything and you were to move somewhere else, what would be that one thing that you would take with you that is in you? It's part of your DNA. It's part of like who you are. Do you know what that one thing would be that you would pick up, that you could go somewhere else and you could just begin? You could take that's in you, or that you've been creating or doing or seeing, that you could go to anywhere in the world and you could start creating. If you were to just click your heels, wave a wand, whatever, and land in another community, city, small town, wherever, you'd be like, I have this strand, I have this piece, I have this skill, I have this innovation, I have this creativity, this thing that I can just, whoever's around me or not around me, if I'm all by myself, if I'm in the middle of the jungle, I could start creating this, and this would get me excited, and I would be just, oh, I'm just so stoked for. Do you have that? Does something come to mind with you? Because it's not so easy. I mean, I've been spending many years on trying to figure that out when I really didn't need to. I didn't really need to figure it out because it's always been within me. But this morning I was thinking, no, I was reflecting. Okay, so there's a strand of yeast, and that in 250 years later, there's a strand of the yeast, something that my Wi-Fi is off today, but there's something that he created from a strand of yeast that he took that is now a legacy 250 years later. And I was thinking about, reflecting on my mom and my grandmas and my great grandmas and my grandfathers and, you know, all that fusion, because all of that comes what has been brought through the generations. Because guys, we can't think of the moment, we can't think of the current, we need to think eternally, we need to think macro, not micro. Life is really made up of all these macro and micro moments, but mainly these micro moments, right, building on to the macro. But we need to think about, okay, in my life, where I am, what I have been given, what's in me that I'm to steward, that I'm to like build, that I'm to create, that I'm to fulfill. And there are clues. There are clues from history. There are clues from your legacy. There's clues in your family lines of what it is that you are, that gets you so juiced up, that gets you so excited. And some of those areas need to be redeemed. Some of those areas need to be reconciled. Some of those ideas need to be brought up and forward. And I do this really amazing. I love this practice that I do with my clients, where we go back into the future a little bit of life, and we discover, where there could be some walls, where there are things that are keeping you from being able to see those gifts, see those potentials because of past hurts, and they might not even be from you. They might be from your past of great grandfathers, great grandmothers, like in the past, that still resonate, still have a piece in your nervous system, may have something there that you're not even aware about. So I take my clients through a process of discovering what that is to unfold the goodness for you to see this potential. And so when I think about my grandmas, I think about the people that have, lived before me in my family lines. And the one thing, the strand there that was in them, well, there's a few things, but the one precious thing that I see that resonates, that looks different than my mom, that looks different than my grandma's, but is in me, is that gift of hospitality. That gift of hospitality is so strong in my family. That gift of adoption, of hospitality, of reconciliation, of healing is so profound and so good. And so I'd be like, no wonder it's in me, of this dream of my mentorship center, of a Grace Cafe, of creating a space that I can invite people into my home, invite people into a center where they can learn, where they can be cared for, where they can be nurtured, where they can be developed for business, right? For creativeness, for more of finding out what their purpose is. It's in me. It's always been in me. It's been generationally embedded into my life. So no wonder the dreams that are within me have an attachment to that. And it looks very, very different. I remember going to my grandma Grace's house, and whenever you would be invited to your grandma Grace's house, she would take out her fine china. You'd be going for a lunch, and you would show up at her house, and it smelled so good. She'd make roast beef or hamburger stew or just something really hearty and good, and she would set the table so beautifully. She'd bring out her fine china, and there would be usually a few different people gathered around her table at a lunch of any given day of the week. It wasn't any special occasion. She just loved to have people in her house all the time. My grandma Grace, she had foster kids, and she always had people, the neighbors, and always different people of all different walks of life gathered around her table. And no matter where you were from or what you were about, she always brought out her good china and, made a big deal about you coming to her house. And, my mom, by my dad, I grew up of always having people coming, staying at our house. We had different leaders and family members and guests always through our house. No matter where we lived, we always had guests come and stay. And my mom, she would always craft and create and make, she wouldn't just make one Christmas log. She would have to make 20 Christmas logs. She made a Christmas log for every person, every family member in our church and on our street and neighbors, and like that gift of hospitality, that love and heart for, for giving and hosting and welcoming people into their home for the purpose of people feeling welcome, people feeling nourished. And for me, I don't I don't cook and bake. I don't bake. My kids and my family will know that. My mom knows that. Um, but however, I love to have people come and stay at my house. For mine, it looks different. I have pastors and leaders and friends and family, and throughout the year, my kids as well. They they know that, sometimes they can come down in the morning and we'll have a guest in our house. They will know the guest, but it's become pretty natural to them that our house has always been a place of refuge. It's a place where people can come and retreat and feel comfortable and want to stay a while. And for me, it might, I have my husband's amazing at making barbecue and smoked meat. So I use him graciously because he's become this super food host, which is really awesome. But you know, for me, having people come and have a safe refuge where they can feel at rest and they can, feel safe. And I give their attention and we go through a process of healing and encouragement and building up. And, you know, that gets me excited. See, guys, it's always been in me. It's something that I needed to find what was special about it, right? What was my responsibility? What was it me to nurture, to grow, to dream on and to build, and what could I do to create something for the future for my kids, my grandkids, or even more so, the multitudes. I mean, I can travel around the world anywhere, and my people have been affected by the legacy that our great grandma and great grandpa um, has left. I can't go anywhere actually in the world. I've found, and I've been to many countries in the world. I can't go anywhere, or even in my own hometown, where people have not been affected by their legacy and the things that they've done. And you have that in you too. There's something so special, and it doesn't have to be global. It doesn't have to be grandiose. It doesn't have to be, but there is something in you that there's a responsibility for you to nurture, for you to grow, and to just like it be so natural to you that when you're in it, you know it. When you're in it, you know it. And when you think about that and you get real intentional about your life of, I know there's something more within my heart. There's something in my life that I'm to steward, that I'm to grow, that I'm to develop. What can I do with the life that I'm given that will matter to the next? That will make a difference in my life, my family's life, my community. I don't know what it is, but what is it that you have that if I applied intentionality, if I, took a step of faith, if I was to pack up everything and start over in a small town, big town, next street over, I don't know what it is, but if you were to take one thing with you, what would it be that you could apply and do anywhere in the world that would get you really excited, that would bring tears to your eyes if you could do that? So friends, my parents are in Florida. My mom might be watching, but I find great joy in that because that is always taken with them. They live in Florida, and that hospitality, that spirit of hospitality, people come and stay at their house. She cooks food for them, and their neighbors love to see them come because of that spirit of hospitality. That love and that care, that heart of reconciliation that's in our lines, in our generational lines, goes no matter where they go. They're living that purpose, they're living that potential, and it may look like different forms through different seasons of their life, but that's in their DNA. That's in them to continue to nurture, to build, to be intentional on, to see the rhythms and see the strings and see the journeys of their life. Like I'm looking at the things, the highs and the lows and the middle times of my life, and that spirit of hospitality. No matter where I was, what was doing, whether my life was high or low, friends, we all have those high and low times of life. But I reflect on it, that spirit of hospitality, people coming and staying at our home, being present, wanting to be with us, wanting to have care, wanting to be ministered to, wanting to be loved, has always been there because it's a part of us. So you have something that's a part of you that you're to nurture, and you don't have to go looking and chasing after it. You don't have to go chasing after it. It's in you. So what is in you? I it's my friend yesterday, she has a chiropractic, not a private, a physio clinic. I'm getting physio on my arm. And if you live in the York Region area in Newmarket, you want to go to Newmarket Physiotherapy. Benita Folick is a wonderful therapist, and she's amazing. But as she was working on my arm, and we're talking and we're chatting, we've known each other for a very long time. Her dad used to be my husband's boss, and he was a great entrepreneur. He gave everything, to his business and his career for his family and building this legacy. And Benita, if you listen to this, I know your mom listens to this, Benu. So I really, um, yeah, it's Benita's working on my arm, and we're talking, and she's doing her business, and she's created this business. I just happy that, like, she's living a part of who she is, her legacy of this business, this entrepreneurship, that she gives everything to this business. That is in her. What she learned from her father, and her father probably learned from his father or mother, or whatever, on and on and on. She's living that out. She has that entrepreneur spirit, and she took that step of faith in herself and what she could do, what she could create, because of the foundation of what her dad did before, that she had the courage and she had the confidence to step out to do this. And you go into Benita's physio center. I don't know why I'm emotional. It's just powerful. And I hope that you dig within yourself to find that. But I go into her center, into her physio center, and there's people there. There's life. There's energy. That E&E, that energy and excellence. There's that energy and that excellence in her physiotherapy center, because she has taken that strand that was in her, and she's passing it on. She's expanding it. And so it's not only her, but it's others that are around her that she gets to teach, that she gets to lead. She gets to teach, and she gets to operate. She gets to mentor these people around her, that entrepreneurial spirit. And she'll be better than her dad was, because that's what we're to do, right? We're supposed to expand on what was done before us. And so her father was an incredible, Benita, your father was an incredible entrepreneur, amazing. But you are even more so. The love and the care and the laughter. She's digging into my arm, working my arm and putting therapy on my arm and talking. There's a gift in her that is so creative, that is so beautiful, that is so much more, than the ones before. And sometimes we get caught up because we think, oh, we can't do what the one did before, but I could never be my dad, or I could never be my mom. Well, you're not meant to be your mom or your dad or your grandma or your grandpa. You're meant to be more than. And it's going to look different. It's going to sound different. It's going to feel different. But that DNA strand that's in you is there for you to work through, to need through. And so when I was thinking about, if I was to pack up my family and go, and it's always in my mind of thinking of going, that's, I love that. But I've always have very thought about that and dreamt of that no matter where I go, if we go to a small town somewhere where there's nothing, that I would set up tent, that I would set up a mentorship center, that I would have a welcoming home, that I could welcome guests in, welcome people into, and know that they would they would feel valued, they would feel loved, they would feel cared for no matter where I go. That's my dream, is to have grace cafes throughout the world, that there is a center for people to come and to be nurtured, to be trained, to be equipped, to believe in their purpose, to develop that potential, to have people come around them, alongside of them, to really see their dreams fulfilled. Friends, isn't that powerful? Ah, wow. Well, it's powerful for me, so I hope that it's powerful for you. Arthur Guinness, Guinness beer, the legacy that he's left behind, and there's so much more to this man that I have to share about. But for now, go ahead and look at his biography, look up his life, and see the legacy that he has left, and maybe buy a can of Guinness and raise a glass and a toast to his life and his legacy, because it's pretty powerful. Okay, happy Tuesday, everybody. Be blessed, be happy, be grateful. Have an awesome day. We'll see you tomorrow. Yeah. Bye, everyone.